Hey campers, what's up? It's Yana and welcome to day 2 of Camp NaNoWriMo July 2020. I haven't written anything yet today in my own novel, I'm just about to go and do that, but first, if you watched my midnight kickoff video, I mentioned some goals which weren't necessarily directly related to Camp NaNoWriMo, and one of them was editing somebody else's novel. I have been hired to do this, so it's work, it's not just doing a little bit of editing for a friend, which I feel is slightly different. So I thought I'd very quickly chat to you about editing other writers' work and also being edited yourself. And let's start with being an editor. If you're already a writer who's also an editor, I'm not going to really tell you anything new, you already know this, but I'm just going to share my own experience. So for this project that I'm working on right now, I won't give any details except to say that I am the development editor and the line editor and the copy editor and the proofreader and any other editing job you could possibly imagine. So it's quite a lot. But I'm lucky in that I really like the project, I really believe in it, so it's enjoyable, it's work but it's fun. First of all, at the moment, because we're doing different kinds of edits at the same time, so we're doing some development edits, but also as I go along, I'm fixing some phrases and some words. We're using Google Docs right now, and I usually write my edits in the comments, and the author and I are actually working simultaneously, so I will leave notes and comments on a few chapters, he will rewrite them, then I will read them over again very quickly, and then we can just move on and move forward rather than me going through the entire novel. But the two things that I always make sure to do, the first one is any type of note that I make, I try to always explain why. And it doesn't matter if it's a big edit, like changing a character or moving a scene to a different place, or if it's something very small, like changing a word or a grammatical construction or something like that. I always try to be very clear about why I think that thing should be changed. I do tend to be quite wordy in my comments sometimes, but I prefer to say more than say too little. The second thing I always make sure to do is to try to give suggestions on how something should be fixed. So, it's one thing to say, oh, this character doesn't work for me, but I feel like, especially if you're a development editor, you have to also be able to offer at least a couple of suggestions on how to make it work, whether it's changing the character voice or whatever it is. And also the same for words and phrases. If you think that a word should be changed, you should offer several synonyms. And one other thing that's very important is to never try to force your own style on another writer. All of those suggestions and all of those corrections should still stick to the original vision of the book and the voice of the author, which is where the trick is, because when you're both an editor and a writer, your own writing voice and your own ideas and your own vision of what something should be can sometimes really try to push through, but you have to try to put yourself in the head of that author and think about how would they fix it if they had your knowledge, if you happen to have a little bit more knowledge than they do about a certain thing. So now let's talk about if you are having your work edited or you're about to hand it to an editor and you're absolutely terrified and it's so awkward and you feel like you're gonna be judged. Well, first of all, you have to be proud of your work. Before you give it to anybody else, make sure that you in your heart believe that it's good. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's good enough that you really think you've done a great job and you're ready to defend it if you have to. So be ready to defend it. You don't always have to agree, but also be ready to accept suggestions and have a little bit of a sense of humor. You have to be able to laugh at silly mistakes or things that you did wrong. This is very, very important, and not just in writing and, you know, your relationship with your editor, but just in anything. Think about the fact that your readers in the future, they will inevitably find things in your book that they don't agree with, they don't think are perfect, and they will laugh about some things and they will mock some things. That's usually part of the experience of reading. Think about your favorite novels or movies or any sort of artistic product. Do you honestly not mock things about them or laugh at them? Usually you do. Even if it's your favorite novel in the world, I'm sure there's something about it which you find stupid or silly or you would change. And then somebody else might read the same thing and be on the completely opposite side and find other things annoying that you love, but they, you know, they like the thing that you think is stupid, and that's just how it goes. So you have to be able to not take criticism personally, because it really isn't personal. We've all been inexperienced writers, and even when you are experienced at writing, so many experienced writers just goof up and make silly mistakes, or, you know, they try something new and it doesn't turn out the way that they want. Your relationship with your editor and the way that they see you is so much dependent on just how you respond to them. So it's not just the work that you've given them. If you are able to accept suggestions or accept criticism with grace and with humor, that will very quickly build so much more respect for you than if you had written the most perfect fiction that nobody can say a single word about. Your editor is your friend. Don't look at all of their comments and edits and think, oh my god, they think I'm horrible, I am so talentless, I am absolute trash. Don't call them on the phone and apologize for subjecting them to the torture that is reading your novel because, you know, you're having a little bit of a crisis of confidence. Nobody wants that from you. Nobody wants to hear that. Your editor wants you to succeed. So when they make suggestions, if you don't agree with the suggestion, just say, I see what you mean, however, and explain your point. And even if you don't convince them, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. It's your book. But if you do agree with their corrections, you know, don't feel bad about the fact that you've done something wrong. Just say, oh, I totally see what you mean. So how about I do it like this? Or how would you suggest I do it? And that's enough. That's all you have to do. This is really all I have to say on this topic for now. I think it's about time that I get to work on my own novel. Okay, so that's 560 words so far today, which is not a whole lot, but I'm already way ahead on my goal, and I did a lot of other work today, and also I had to pause and do some serious research on animal physiology, because I was trying to make a certain type of creature at least somewhat realistic. I mean, they are magical creatures, but I do want them to kind of make sense physically. I don't want them to run entirely on magic. So that ate up some time. So I'm gonna pause now, and I think I'm gonna maybe edit this video. I may or may not write more later in the evening, because a lot of the time that's when I get inspired, a little bit later after it's dark. Well, I mean, it's the UK in summer, it's not going to be dark for a while. But we'll see what happens. But even if I don't write anymore today, I'm on schedule, so that's absolutely fine. Thanks guys very much for watching. And let me know how your second day of Camp NaNoWriMo went. Have you ever edited anybody else's work? Have you had your own work edited, or are you planning to do that and are you worried about it, or any other thoughts you have? Thanks for watching. I'll see you at some point, maybe tomorrow. I keep saying I'm not doing daily vlogs, but so far it's been daily vlogs, so maybe tomorrow. I'll see you at some point with another video. Bye!